Hi, I'm Nina. Welcome to Nina in the Kitchen. We just had Thanksgiving turkey and now you have all of these leftovers, and one of them is the carcass of the bird. If you have never made stock before, please let me show you the way. I love making stock, and what I love about it is it's simple. You put it on the stove, you vacuum the house or do whatever you're going to do. You can go out and play a snappy game of croquet and then come home, drain your stock, drain all the bits out, and what you're left with is this delicious, rich, velvety stock. And once you make soup out of that, I'm telling you, you will never go out and buy canned soup again. You just can't. And it's so simple to do. So let's get started. I took all of the meat off of my turkey. You can see there's little bits and pieces, and that's exactly what you want. Stock is different in broth, in that stock is made from the bones and the cartilage of an animal. It can be turkey, it can be chicken, beef, whatever it is you have. And broth is made with the meat and the bones. So if I were to make chicken broth, for example, I would put the whole chicken into a soup pot with water and these aromatic vegetables. With stock, you use the bones and everything else. So the whole deal here is you're going to cook this for long enough to bring out the collagen, and that's what gives you the velvety mouthfeel. And you know you've done a good job when you put it in the refrigerator and you wind up with this jello kind of mass, and that's what you make soups out of. So, okay, enough about that. Now all that I'm going to do is take these pieces, these big pieces, and cut them down. I have celery, all of the usual suspects, right? I have celery, I have carrots, I have onion, garlic, and my addition is parsley stems. When I buy parsley, I take the stems off and I freeze them, and then when I do something like this, I just put them in, and it's a nice flavor to add. I have some bay leaf, anything that I boil for a long time, soup, stock, sauces, I'll use bay leaf in it. Here is, I think that was three celery stalks. I have some carrots here. Usually I would use one big carrot or two medium sized. These are puny, so I have 3 of those. And again, easy, you just chop them up, throw them in. Here's a garlic clove hanging out. I have onion. We used a little bit of this one. The rest of it goes in the pot. And all I'm doing is cutting off this, watch out for your fingers, cutting off the root end of the garlic, and the whole rest of the head, paper and all, goes into the stock pot. What you want to do is just cover this with water and bring it up to a boil, bring it down to a simmer, and let this simmer with the lid ajar, just like that, for about 2 hours. But here's the great part about stock. Your day gets busier, you're tired, you come here and you say, oh, I have to drain all of this, I don't feel like doing it. You can let this go on the stove. As long as you have water in here, you can let this go. I've done it overnight. I've done that more than once. And back in the day when pioneers were coming into the US, what they would do is have these big hearths and these big kettles. What they kept in those kettles was whatever they hunted, whatever they gathered that was edible would go in there, and they would just scoop out the solids every once in a while and use stock all year round, I guess, I don't know. But anyway, so it's a great thing to know how to do. I'm going to put this on the stove and I'll be back to drain it later. I just wanted to show this to you while I thought of it. I had this in my fridge. This is from another stock that I made earlier, and you can see how it kind of shimmies just like Jello. So that's the collagen that I was talking about, making this into a gel. And all that you do is melt this down. You can see there's some solids down there. That's some turkey that I had. And You just melt this down. You can add rice to it, a little more turkey. I'm going to make a pho out of this, but as you can see, it's very easy from here to make a soup. It's delicious, it's homemade, and this stuff that's on top is fat. So if you don't want to scoop fat off of your stock as you're making it, that's not a problem. When you put it in the fridge, it congeals, and then you can just easily scoop it out with a spoon. Hi, well, the stock just came off of the stove, and here are the players, as it were. What I'm going to do is strain all of the vegetables and bones from the stock. I use a chinois, and of course when I was shopping it, the only size I could find was restaurant size, but they do come smaller than this, and I really like this particular strainer because I take my tapered rolling pin that I use for pie crust, I can put it in here and I can use it as a bat and really squish all of the juices out of the vegetables and the bones. Another product that you can use is just this regular old colander that you would use for your pasta. That would work as well. So, before you dump, before you turn your stock into your sink, make sure you have a big bowl. That's the biggest one I have. Then in goes the strainer, and then in goes the stock. So, this comes out, and this is all the stock that you have. If you taste it and you think it needs more flavor, you can use chicken base in here, or just season it. When we made the stock, one thing I'd like to point out is as you're making stock, because you're reducing all of that liquid, you do not want to put salt in at the beginning of the cooking. The salt comes right now. Taste it, see if it needs salt. If you'd like it unsalted, you can add pepper to this, whatever herbs that you want. But you want to cook it unsalted so it doesn't get super salty as it boils down. Well, now we're back with the rest of the stock, just finishing up, and this is still very hot, so I'm not going to do this yet. One way to cool this down is to add ice cubes. If you live up north, just put it out on your back porch for a minute, and or if you have a cold garage or a cold pantry, that'll work. But what do you do with all of this now that you've made it? Well, you can use this as a base for so many things. If you want a low-fat mashed potato, this is delicious going into mashed potatoes. You can make it with chicken pot pie, turkey pot pie. You can put them, and I love to do this, I will put them into these large ice cube trays. These are 4 ounces each, so I know that I have 4 ounces of ice cube in one of these. So I can take that out and use it in a recipe when I want just a little sauce for something. Maybe I'm doing a quick pasta sauce and it looks a little dry. I can pop one of these in there. I can go smaller with a smaller ice cube tray. As soon as these are frozen, you just pop them out into a Ziploc baggie, and then you have instant chicken stock or broth, or this is stock anyway. The other thing is muffin tins. This is a nice size to have. So, but if you want to make a quick soup, because that's another reason to make stock, is you can have a very quick soup in a moment. So I would take this, put it into something like a measuring cup, and just fill this up, fill these plastic bags up. Now you have a Ziploc full of your cooled stock. Close it up. I put them in pans and layer them. The bags are full, remember, and layer them, and just put this in the freezer, and whenever you want a quick soup, you have a serving for 2 right here. So I hope that I've inspired you to make your own stock and stop buying the stuff in the box with a little twisty thing. And you know what, that's a fine product. I shouldn't say that. It's a fine product, but once you have this, you're never gonna buy another instant soup again. Oh, another great use for this. Ramen noodles, you know, the little soup packets, throw them out. Use this instead, and you now have a reasonably healthy lunch or dinner with a few veggies. That's a great ramen dish. Okay, well, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.